I just want to do a quick update video to show you what I've been doing for the past couple weeks on the Biscayne. Stick around.
We're at the movies, huh?
Yep, we're at the movies. So I was in Texas for 2 weeks, so while I was away, I did a lot of researching for how to do some projects on this car. I looked into buying a wiring harness, looked into putting in a headliner, and I bought both of those and started putting them in. And I also looked into doing the seats. So I completely gutted the interior. There were the seat covers. This front seat is completely disassembled. I have the kick panels here. I bought new kick panels. The panels that were in the back of the car, and you can see how well these were covered before. Someone just used masking tape to hold these flaps over and double-sided tape, but they didn't use the second side. Pretty snazzy. But they used the original steel pieces, so we can at least use these fiber boards in that. We're just gonna have to do something a little better than this. In the package tray, we're probably gonna maybe be able to re-dye this and put new foam underneath because this is cut terribly. But I can salvage those. I started scuffing some of the trim because I'm going to paint almost all of it black except for these couple pieces which will get painted the color of the dash. The front seats are completely gutted and the frames are a little weak for the back rests, so I'm going to have to do some rust repair, find another bench, or get buckets. One of those three options. So kind of holding off on that. I'm going to haul those to the basement and figure those out in time. But I finished the back bench. This thing turned out really nice. I'm happy with it. It's not 100% perfect, but for somebody that's never sewn a day in his life, I think this is pretty good. I've never sewn by hand. The first time I used a sewing machine was to make these, so I actually bought a sewing machine specifically for this purpose. So I think those turned out really good, and they're not just laying on here. You know, these are actually attached on here, so that's pretty sweet. And I did a side-by-side comparison to show you what I started with. This was the original cover that was covered up by this green cover, which was, you know, it doesn't really match the interior, so had to get rid of that. The foam was deteriorating, it was completely shot, so got new foam, cut the foam, made my own seat cover. It was kind of out of these old ones as patterns, just kind of winged it, and it turned out pretty nice. So like I said, the interior's pretty much stripped out except for the door panels, but I have a brand new headliner. It is a nice white headliner, unlike that really nasty blue headliner that was once green. And it has a real nice brand new dome light, and I'm gonna wire that in. So I have the wires ran for it, I just need to hook up the rest of the wiring. But this thing turned out real nice. I also changed the color of the dash, and believe it or not, this is cast blast. So I wanted to break up, add some more contrast in the car, because having 14 different shades of blue on the car was terrible. This blue is different than this blue, the carpet was different, the headliner was a different shade. Just wasn't working for me, so I had to change something. So the dash went to a different color, and all the trim's gonna go to a different color, so that way it'll be a lot more classy in here. This is a sneak peek for what's coming up. It's gonna be coming through the floor. I'll be working on that later tonight. So I pretty much finished the wiring in the trunk. I put a new trunk mat in. I have to trim it up a little bit and get it to sit nice and flat. I repainted the whole trunk to give it a real nice clean look. It was kind of chipped up in some places, so I wanted to make it all look nice and uniform. I worked on the taillight wiring. I have to put my nice loom, have these little protectors that go over the wiring too, and that'll make it look nice and clean. So I'll do that. Took up the gas tank sending wire, but other than that, pretty much wrapped up back here. And the taillights, I upgraded it, so all 4 taillights will be brake lights, and if you hit the turn signal, both these ones or both of those ones will light up. Which originally, I think this one was the brake light, and this was the turn signal, and this was the driving light. They didn't work together, so it'll be safer, it'll look cooler, it's just better all around. There are tons and tons and tons of terrible splices in here, just terrible repairs. You can see the dome light was just painted over. This was the wire that was connecting the distributor to the power, so this was the battery wire, and they took HEI lead and put it onto this other wire. So I don't know if they burned took the insulation off whenever they were putting on the heat shrink, or the wire wasn't the correct size. Either way, this is not kosher. The soldering's terrible. Big news, I got a moon tack. So that's gonna look sweet. And then having the shift ball come out of the floor, this thing's gonna be just real sweet hot rods. I made my own windlace to go around the door instead of the nasty green ones that were on here. I started the wiring, I have it draped down here, and the wiring for the tacks draped down. I just set the tack in just to see what it looked like, and it looked cool, so I had to leave it there. And I have all the wiring labeled, so I have like the steering column wires, dimmer switch, so I have them all labeled. I just have to take time and cut them all to length and start putting the connectors on the end. So my goal for this week is to finish up the wiring, start to get the shifter in, and figure out what I want to do with those seats. That's the goal for the week. If I get to that point, I'll be happy. So the plan with this is to try to get this done, hopefully by the end of this month, and I'll probably run over that deadline. So, but the plan is to have it done by the end of this month, so I can hopefully enjoy it, put it away for a little bit, and then probably put it up for sale. And I have another project coming. I have a 63 Corvette bird caging frame that I need to do rust repair on. So I have to get this done to make room for the next car. So there's a lot of cars coming in and out of the Mid-Year Mitch garage, so be sure to stick around and check that out. So this is just a quick video to show you what I've been working on. I have a lot of videos coming up on this car, so be sure to stick around. I'm gonna try to get into the routine, keywords try, of every other week making a video. So whether it's a quick walk around like this, or it's a more detailed video. The more detailed videos take a lot longer to edit, a lot longer to film, and I physically want to make sure I work on the project from start to end before I upload a video. So it takes longer. These videos don't take as long, so I'm going to try to do one of these videos, then do a more detailed video, then one of these. I'll try to get in more of a routine to keep you guys more up to date on what I'm doing in the garage. So that's the plan. Hold me to it. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and tell your friends to subscribe. It really helps me out. My goal is to get the channel to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I think we're on track to do that. It's really going to help the channel grow, really going to help my content get better. So really appreciate the support, the comments, everything you guys do. It's awesome. So I have a lot of projects going on, so I have a lot to do. I'll catch you guys later. So now it's official, the Biscayne is part of the Mid-Year Mitch family.